Hey everybody, welcome back to my creative series, and I'm with one of my very good friends and artist, Sarah from Sarah Cristine Art
Hello.
on Instagram and Facebook, right?
Oh yeah.
And Sarah will be at the Collaborative Art Show on February 17th, and I have the pleasure of speaking with her today. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. This place is incredible.
We have been really looking forward to this. I know we chatted a couple times, and I'm looking forward to it because you have inspired me many times.
Mm.
Um, your artwork is unbelievable. Let's talk about that for a second. This kind of was an accident.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that.
It's a journey. So, it started in 2020 during COVID.
Hmm.
A lot of time on the couch,
Like so
and
many people started
yeah,
something,
there's some.
hopefully.
I mean, they say we're going through another renaissance because there's so much in here that wants to come out,
Hmm.
and the I'm just flabbergasted. That's what I say. Just how it develops, and for me, it's exciting because it can start with I'm gonna pick like 5 colors,
Hmm.
and then with those 5 colors, it's like how am I feeling? Go to Michael's. I have a whole chest of like paints and stuff,
Hmm.
so go to Michael's, pick out some colors. I'm like, all right, there's 5. This is my palette of the day.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of like emotional winging it, but that was, I
I
mean,
love that.
that's all part of the process of just like learning what works for me, what brings stuff out of me. And
Hmm.
a lot of it actually is inspiration from other people. Like sitting in this room with you, I know like after this whole evening, I'm going to go home and be like, I feel like painting right now because there's so much creativity that goes
Hmm.
between us, And with the blacklight paints, my daughter bought me for Christmas,
Uh-huh.
blacklight paints. And I'm like, huh, this looks like fun. And we just got weird with it.
This past Christmas?
So like a few Christmases ago,
Okay.
like back in
That's
back
how
in
you
20.
started with the black light paint.
Yeah, because
Okay.
like I had this vision, like man, I really want to see light.
Hmm.
I like when I go for drives and you see the like the fog and the street light and how like that illuminates. It's like
Hmm.
that stuff fascinates me.
Okay.
It's like I want to be able to at some point take this and get it onto the canvas.
Hmm.
But this was really an accident.
Yeah. The black light paint was an accident.
Yeah, the black light paint was an accident. I mean, maybe it wasn't an accident.
Maybe the universe
Maybe.
told you.
Maybe it was like, here's a little gift for you to
Uh-huh.
like get on your way and
So, and then you started working with it
mm-hmm.
and you started creating. Do you remember what the first thing you created with it was?
uh
The first couple things?
first thing I created with the black light paint. Actually, I had glow in the dark paint and I just did a outline of mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a little outline of mountains. I'm like, oh, this is cool, but I really want this to
Hmm.
I want to be able to see the moonlight on the water and stuff. So I couldn't say my first. This is the first one that went live with black light that I'm like, I love this
And
baby.
this is mine. This one I already bought a couple years ago. So I was so excited to when you brought it into the shop. I was like, yes, and you're like, you want to know the price first? I'm like, oh yeah, tell
Oh
me.
yeah.
Still yes.
That's the hardest part is the price.
the This one's called the Lunar
The
Lounger.
lunar lounger.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
I know. It's like,
I love it.
of course there would be an astronaut with like a VW bug in space.
Of course.
Of course, there's sunflowers and stuff up there.
And I've
He's at a
had
little
this.
gas station unmanned.
Oh, is that what that is? I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You have a little city in the background over
I
there.
don't think I've ever noticed that either. You
Yeah.
really have a lot of detail in there. I had this in my office at work and it's behind me. And so when I get on a Teams call, people are like, what is that painting? I'm like, let me tell you all
Oh
about it.
man.
And everyone loves it. And so I always point them in your direction. So this is the new one.
Yes.
And so where did this come from?
Um,
What
I
part of that crazy part of that brain did this come out?
to be honest, I love the lunar lounger,
Hmm.
and it's they're like your little children.
They are.
I want more life. Like I want to
Hmm.
see more of them.
Hmm.
And I mean, this is taking me a couple years.
Wow.
It was originally like, and I'll have a progression of the photos, but I'll walk away from it and be like, all right, the first before all the foliage, before we have like the turkey tail and the mushrooms here, it was just these guys. I'm like,
Yes.
what are they doing? You know, I didn't know what they were doing there.
Did and
And then,
now they're harvesting some
yeah, and
things over
like,
here for science and
yeah, listening to music. I'm not 100% sure what he's doing, but I think he's taking in the view.
yeah, he looks like he's jamming out
Yeah,
too
he's like,
and
yes,
looking
this
up
is
at the
good.
starry night for sure. So what's your process? How do you get into I mean, where do you draw the motivation from, the inspiration from, and how do you get into it?
Mm. I have to have a full well.
What do you mean by that?
Everything from like working,
Hmm.
day to day like life and stuff, I absorb and I'm holding on to stuff. I think this is what's happening.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm winging it. So for me, it's like it's exciting because it's art is a language of the soul, and there's so much creativity and there's wild adventure in here.
Hmm.
So for me, it's like I think it's everything that I'm around, like what I go through, what I experience. I hold it into here, and then
Oh, that's what you
um
mean by full well.
full well. I
Hmm.
just and then I've recently learned you can't do art with a broken heart. If you're Sarah Christine, that's what poetry's for recently because I'm like, well then. This is so it's I live and learn. Like as I go I grow. So I'm growing through my painting process and I feel like there's more to come and it's just as surprising to me.
Well, I like that concept of full well, and you saying that, I go, wow, okay, that hits home because I don't realize it, but that's what I'm doing because there's a moment that you are drawn or told or kicked
Yeah.
into you need to go
You
create.
it's like you're it's not even like you're suffocating. It's like I gotta go, I gotta it's like you get the itch of like,
Right.
and then when it finally comes out, you're like, look at what was in here.
Yeah.
And then it's like then the art piece talks to you.
You're taking little inspirations over time and you may be away from it for a week or something and you're like, I got to get in there.
I
Like
got
I
to,
have all these
yeah.
ideas that are floating around. Now I need to get them on the
And
canvas.
it's exciting. And my mom will like I'll come in the room like, Mom, okay, do you see this and this? She's like, that's interesting what you're doing there. So I know sometimes it's my eye. I'm like, it's okay, it'll come out.
You're right.
Or
Don't
be
judge
like,
the
I
process.
did too much, mother. Too much.
It is hard to stop sometimes.
That's
I,
what they say.
I know. I know.
It's hard to stop.
I know. With
You
the
get
little,
lost in the
what
sauce.
one of my favorite one of your sayings. You say, "I get lost in
I
the sauce."
I've there's been times where I don't come up for air.
Hmm.
And then it's the greatest place to be for me because my I just am locked into this other world and you're in this realm of creating. So as I'm painting, it could be weird. It could be like the negative is where like all of my colors turn into just this big shadowy block
Hmm.
and I'm looking at it like what has happened. And then from there things start popping out and we can do like little accents of gold to pull the light out of it to bring it to life.
Hmm.
And for me it's that the life in there then starts coming out once the light hits it. I'm like, oh my gosh, felt like I was in the darkness, but now I'm like seeing what was hiding here, and that is a huge reward in itself.
Well, I love that we can create for ourselves.
Yes, yep,
It's great that someone else can appreciate it, but getting lost in the sauce is more for your soul.
yes.
And I know we've kind of gotten into that a little bit before, but how does that feed your soul? What does it do for you?
um I truly believe it's like connecting to the divine.
Hmm.
It's like a heaven playground and you're getting, I mean, this is how I feel like I'm in heaven. Sometimes it I get stuck. I'm like, all right, doing this color. I'm trying to achieve what I'm feeling.
Hmm.
Like I can feel it in my heart. Like there's something here. I got to get here, and I'm not quite tweaking it right. At that point, I do need to take a step back. And when I step back and I look at my clock and it's 3 a.m. and don't know if I've had dinner or water. And at some point, my mom said good night, or my husband's like, "See you tomorrow, babe." And I'm like, "Love you guys, bye. I'll be up soon." And it's
Right.
3 a.m. and I'm
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, I need a drink.
have I been drinking water? Maybe I'm dehydrated.
And it's those moments too where you feel a little satisfied and it's okay to step away.
Yeah.
It's almost better to step away.
Well, exactly. Because you have, and this is also about knowing ourselves.
Hmm.
And as I go, I'm learning more about myself if I'm drained,
Hmm.
what's coming out. Sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I'll go to these dark areas and see. And I'm like, no, I don't want to see that right now. But I do want to write out some poetry, so we'll do that. Put that on the shelf, and we'll be back soon. So it's like returning to a long lost love, or like coming home.
It's nice to have more than one outlet, with the poetry, the art, whatever it may be, making coffee.
Oh my gosh, making coffee, going on a hike.
And your other Instagram handle, Sarah Go Outside.
Yes, there goes.
Where I always thought,
Woo!
I never asked, and I've been wanting to ask you this. Where did that come from? Is that because you like get your butt outside,
Well,
and
I
it's a
mean,
reminder when you're looking at your Instagram?
I might have been a little tooty child growing up in California. My dad's like, Sarah, just go outside.
No, that's great.
Growing up out in Southern California, I mean, I would not get home until the stars were out and then some.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I think that's a part of my core.
That's
If
great.
things get a little weird, just go outside. If you're getting a little moody, go into a funky place. Just go outside.
Isn't it amazing what you can get from just going outside, though?
Oh yeah,
Because
fresh
you
air.
actually do it. I see your
Yeah.
posts. I know that you actually do go outside almost daily for a little walk of some kind with your
Yeah.
dog. And do you gather inspiration there as well? I
It's
imagine.
crazy. It's a good place. There's a lot going on up here. It's a good place to go, and I'll find that I'll be up here, I'll be doing my walk, and the dog's doing his thing, and all of a sudden I'll take a moment and be like, I already walked like a mile and I was somewhere else. And everything that's going on in my head, then I find answers.
Hmm.
Sometimes I need to step away from people and the energy. Sometimes I need to go to where it's quiet,
Hmm.
go back to like and breathe that air and find the calmness and return back to like the source, that peace. And from there, then all the crazy thoughts get quieter, and then the answers come. I mean, for the most part, sometimes it's like, all right, we got to keep walking. I'm hot, I'm sweaty, and my dog's not listening to me. It can be stressful, but for the most part, whenever I go out there, I return more myself. I
Hmm.
feel like maybe I lose myself along the line sometimes with how much I give. Even with my mouth, I'll tell a story and be like, "Whoa, I really went out there. I just let it all on the table." And then think about that later. It's like, no, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. I just gotta let that go. So it's healing for me.
So how long have you been doing this? 3 years about of art, actual painting art?
Yeah, it's been 3 years, I would say.
I think it's really interesting because all artists, and I found this, they have a style, right? And and boy, there's nothing wrong with it because I don't care if there is similarities or not. I love this one. I want this one too. I'm not allowed to have it, but I want this one too. I want everyone, and I love your style. And just like my houses,
Oh
they
yeah.
all have a kind of a similar style, and
Yeah.
this is the current stage they're in with the witchy vibe, outdoorsy woodland kind of dreams there, and that's okay because again, it's kind of for ourselves, which
Yeah.
is part of it, and it's great if somebody else appreciates it. But I love that you can take one style, still make it so different every time, and it's feeding your soul to do it. And what is that creative energy that's drawing us to create something over and over again? Do you know?
Um I can feel, right? I mean, I truly believe we're created,
Hmm.
and if we're created beings, we're going to be creating.
Hmm.
And I think everyone has that creative ability in them, and maybe it's fear that keeps us blocked up. It's like, "Oh, I couldn't do that." You can grab whatever you want and just throw that on the canvas, and that's your art.
That's your
We
creation.
just got you got to stop listening to the fear and here,
Yeah.
and kind of just like, all right, I might mess up along the way, but this is how we're learning.
This is very new to me, as of September, and the one thing that seemed true to me was, oh, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be creating
Yeah.
because we're created in some way.
Mhm.
I feel like, what's our purpose in life? What's the
Mhm.
meaning of life? Something just hits when you create, when
Yep.
you make something. And I've worked on things and I fixed things around the house. That feels good to
Oh
complete
yeah.
that. And now going into an artistic kind of realm of creating, wow, what an amazing feeling it gives you to, and again, you kind of saw this today, no rules.
Yes, no
No
rules.
rules,
Yeah.
and just doing what I want to do with no rules and literally creating from nothing.
I know.
Isn't that
It's
incredible?
coming out of here.
Right.
It's it is incredible and it's exciting.
It's exciting, and there's so much more to do, and I feel like I'm in a spot now where I'm never going to stop this. It doesn't have to be a lot like I'm doing right now for the art show. I feel like I'm creating a lot, and that's okay because it's totally flowing out of me, so I can.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I also don't have to. If I create one a month, I'd still be satisfied. But I feel like now that I have that connection to creating something, I can get in there whenever I want and just make something.
Hmm.
And I'm getting drawn to it more and more. Luckily, there's a lot to do right now, so I'm not short of creating.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I'm going to always have this now throughout my life. So I encourage everyone out there to find your passion, to find your creation. What are you into? And try a lot of different things. I have
Hmm.
tried a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I never knew it was going to be this. This I don't know where this came from, to tell
It
you the
caught
truth.
I mean, I was surprised. I'm like, what is happening here? And then all of a sudden I mean, to see it in person, I would say online doesn't even like come close to the magnificentness of your
Well,
creations.
I appreciate that. That there's the pictures you just can't catch the
No, you
detail
have to
and the depth.
you can feel the energy off of it.
Hmm.
And that again, that's little pieces of our soul.
I guess that's true, right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of
Little
piece
bit of us in
of
there.
you in your paintings because
Yeah.
it did come from that little brain of yours,
Yeah.
and something came out. And we've talked about in the past about like, where do we come from and the origins of the universe and the energies, and you're a very energy kind of person, which I love. And the connection to everything.
Hmm.
In that if you ever experienced something that has shown you like we're all connected,
Yeah.
the universe to every star to every person to every tree to the birds to the grass, and there's life in the air around us.
Hmm.
And if you've ever had that experience, like you feel like you believe that, you truly believe
Oh
that.
yeah.
And and when I feel like when you get that experience and you know or you believe that that's true, that leads you in a different direction. It really takes and you grab energy and direction and motivation from everything you're doing, and then you can redirect it to create something.
Oh yeah. I mean, speaking of like grabbing the energy and it flowing through, like even throwing flowing through people around us.
Hmm.
I mean, this house is loaded, you guys. Oh my Lanta, you guys done a great job
Thank
here.
you.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah, Beth, we put up the episode with Beth tonight
Yes, I
actually,
love that episode.
and and this is, a piece of her brain. This
Yeah.
is how she works in interior design. And wait till you haven't seen the studio
Oh
that she
man,
has set up for the art show.
I can't wait. I'm just gonna be like, every time I walk in, I'm like, wow, and then you'll hear me. It's like almost wow,
and
wow. Look at this.
and you can get that from, visiting a museum or walking around someone's house
Yeah.
or anywhere, and then redirect that into what you're creating. And I love to see what comes out of you. Your newest painting that you've been working on looks incredible.
Oh, the minivan.
The minivan.
Minivan. I wish he was big. He's a little guy, a little piece of wood, but that story is it's cool, pretty cool.
Tell me about it.
It it was a negative, like I call it a negative.
Hmm.
So maybe my plate's a little loaded, and I'm just talking to my mom. But while I'm talking to my mom, I think I'm gonna grab my paintbrush, and while we're talking, I'm just gonna go. We're gonna grab this rose color, maybe grab some gold or whatever, mix it all in, get it out there.
Hmm.
And again, it's like that transference on there. And it might have nothing to do with what we're talking about, but something always hides in the shadows.
Hmm.
And I'll take my brush because if I say it turns to mud, so it's like it just all my colors mixed together. And at the end of a conversation, I'm like looking at this, and I'll see it for a moment. I'll see the shadows of like The mountains, maybe I'll look at it and see, like, I feel like this is the base of a trailhead
Mm.
and there's a summit, like, and it's a feel see.
Mm-hmm.
um and then just take a little bit of light and start adding little bits of light to bring out the picture, and then I'm like, Mom, I think this is what this is. Or, I mean, being by myself and I'm talking to my cat, be like, dude, what do you think about that? What is this? And the nod of approval, and then he tells me to worship him. I'm like, you're wonderful, thank you. But yeah, that sometimes I'll have not issues, but sometimes there's certain parts of it, like, I get a little in my head about the dimensions of the vehicle and, oh, it doesn't look like what I want it to look like, and I'll mess around with it. So sometimes when you hit like a road bump, and then I'm like, all right, well, I need to put this to the side for a minute, and I'll return to you when the time's right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's learning, like, learning about myself with art.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening here. It's like, all right, I gotta put up the wall here. I'm like, I see you, I love you, I'll see you soon, babe. Like, put them on the wall, and I'll have it right above my TV and look at it. So anywhere where everyone's sitting together, I'll just grab my palette or grab a canvas and just put art on there.
To kind of draw back to the things Beth said and finding the commonality, I see a couple things here. One, you got to just start.
Yeah.
That seems to be a common thread where you're talking, you're doing something else, but you're like, while I'm doing this, I'm going to start. And you don't know
No.
at all where it's going.
Mm-mm.
And I think that's another big piece. But the other big piece I see is that it's okay to step away.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that with the things that I do. I see that with the things that Beth do. And now you're saying that you do that too.
Yeah.
So the inspiration to start is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Getting started is just start.
Yeah.
And then being okay with, I'm not in a good spot right now. I need to walk away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you come back to that? What brings you back to getting started yet again?
I would say when everything's calmed,
Mm.
when whatever seas I'm going through, maybe my husband just made me a really good cup of coffee and I don't have to worry about the WORK word. I'm sitting there like, it's time. Like Simba, it's time. And I mean, I used to play, like Bethel. There's this church out in California, just have in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Because that energy was, from that energy, I got this one piece called The Lion.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of, I mean, I never saw how much I loved that guy until he was gone. And I want to turn him into a black light painting. But there's certain things that come out. So if, like, the song's talking about, the Lion of Judah, that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because I'm not 100% paying attention. It's just going on. So the whole ambiance, it's like coming through, going down, like going on the canvas. So.
And that's interesting because again, I think so as somebody who's even new to creating, getting started is the key. Being okay with walking away is okay.
Yeah.
And then, but having that piece that you're working on, it doesn't matter how long you work on it. And it's nice to not have the rules to have to work on
I
it.
know.
Right. But it's nice to have something to come back to also, because you already have something started that you started, and now you're getting the inspiration to go, ooh, I know what I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
I do that with these.
I get excited. Like, I'll be at work and I'm like, speeding home to do my art.
Isn't it? And sometimes that's the motivation. Sometimes like just to get a different mindset and get away from that work mode, and like being excited to do, like, okay, work is, everybody has work.
We all have
and
it.
no matter how good or how bad it is, it's work.
Yes.
It could be the best job ever. It's still work, and it's not for you.
Art is for you.
Art is for you.
It's like, I'm doing this for me, man.
Right.
It's like, I'm taking all this creativity and we're gonna give it to us. Here we go.
And you get excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
So to rush back, I totally get it because I've done it. And you're thinking about it at the end of the day, especially when something comes to you at work and you're like, oh, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Then you can't wait to get back to it.
And I feel like it's always like there in our head, where like, I know I have like maybe like 4 different paintings right now that I'm like, all right, I see you, buddy. Don't worry, it'll come. It'll come. And then they're like speaking to me. I'm like, at some point, I know you're gonna, whatever needs to finish there. like these guys, like I missed the Lunar Lounger, and seeing him again, I'm like, hey, buddy, because that's like that's that time of my life. That
Yeah,
was summer and sunshine and porch painting, and oh
a little
man, I
flashback
love,
there.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, yeah. I remember just like kicking back and like, yeah, I'm the Lunar Lounger. I'm just life
I
is good. Look at the sky. Not a worry in the world.
when I sold my first house, one, shocked, like somebody bought something I made, number one, but it was instant sadness to see it go,
Oh
like a
yeah,
friend,
yeah. It's true.
like
It
we
is.
had a lot of good times together.
Yes, that's real.
Remember that time you tried to break on me and you fell on the floor and I was scared?
Oh my gosh.
Remember that time I was painting you and it started raining?
We've been through so much together.
And they're
Oh.
taking you for $40.
I that's so true. It's true.
But it sometimes I think I'm done too, and I had a couple that I put away. I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then I'm passing it or putting something else that's done next to it, going, oh wait, oh I see something. I want to come back to
Yeah.
that. I'm not quite done with that because as you create more, it evolves and become something more. And sometimes you respect what you made in the past and it
Hmm.
is what it is and you love it for what it was. But then if you still in your house and it hasn't sold or you kind of go, oh, now I know how to upgrade it because I've upgraded my process or I've
Yeah.
evolved my process to add a little more fluff. Or I love the seed pods a lot that I've been kind of picking up off the ground, as in the
Oh
pine
yeah.
cones. And so some I see something that's a little older that has a little less on it, and I go, oh, I need a pine cone right here. It would be perfect, and I'll pull it back up. And so, do you ever do that? Do you ever kind of go back to something when you think you're done, or do you get done?
Oh no, I will. I'll go back to it. I mean, respectfully, he's not in my house, so he's done.
But you're looking at it thinking I could do some things to it.
Buddy, hey buddy, and that's we didn't even turn on the black light. Then I'd be like, I
No.
can do the nope, nope. Gotta let him be.
Yeah.
He'll tell you. It's like, all right, I'm done.
I wish I had prepared better with some black light so
Oh,
people could really see these pop. Follow Sarah Cristine Art on Instagram. You have that black light popping on your post, and you can really see the colors coming out, and it's a whole different
it's a different
experience.
world.
Because these, first of all, they're beautiful. Your paintings
Thank
are
you.
wonderful, and again, this is my office at work. I don't have. It'd be kind of funny to have a black light at work,
Oh,
but they look great. But man, when you pop that black light on,
I
what a
know.
different
That's
experience.
trippy.
There's movement.
Yeah.
There's definitely, and I think you kind of have a purpose in the way that because you paint under black light.
Oh yeah. So I will paint. I'll constantly be changing the light.
Hmm.
When you say you speak of movement, and then going back to what you said about returning to the painting, and I feel like, or going back to our creation, I think it's alive.
Yeah.
It's never ending.
Hmm.
So you'll know when it's time, but you'll also know it's like, oh, there's something here it's not complete yet. It'll come to me,
Yeah.
and that is also that's unlocking more about us. And I think everyone, when we finally let go and just, all right, I'm gonna throw this on here, you'll learn more about yourself.
It's interesting how I think what I know, what I've gained about you, known about you, know about you. This is really you. You put you into your artwork, and that's really interesting to me to think because I've never, again, I can't paint, I can't draw a stick figure. That's not my thing. And as I get to know more people, artists like yourselves who do paint, I'm realizing just another experience with art going, wow, somebody put their heart and soul into the work. And so this is a piece of you and your experiences.
Little funky
Yeah.
mashup of whatever this is. Like, all right, girl.
Well, that's an interesting thing too, because maybe you can learn a little bit about the artist just by looking at their art.
I mean, can you tell that I go outside? Oh, a little thing, funny thing about the mushrooms. My daughter will not hike with me anymore because every little mushroom I see, I have to take a picture of it, get the right angle. And she told, I mean, this is how we grew, like how she grew up, going on hikes and then finding like the turkey tail and then finding the lion's mane and stuff. And I'd be like, ooh, everyone. It was an obsession. Anyway, so she finally revealed to me, she's like, "We're just gonna go on a hike and you're gonna look at all the mushrooms." She's like, I don't have time for that. I'm like, okay, baby. But you're right. Did traumatize you a little bit. That's okay. We'll put that there.
And you jam out to music.
Oh yeah.
That's great. I feel like music is another, another form of art.
It's a whole nother that's a whole nother ball game.
But boy, does that get you in the mood to create. And man, I can use a lot of different styles of music too,
Yeah.
depending on the vibe and what
Yeah.
I'm feeling that day. And but it all works.
It does. It's interesting to think about what comes out too, and you feel your spirit lift. You can be a little drained and then sit down and throw on some Marvin Gaye, and all of a sudden it's like, woo, all right,
I'm back.
I'm alive.
Yeah, sometimes I will be in my shop and maybe I'm feeling a little stiff. I'll just do some squats and some body twists and kind of
get things moving.
Exactly, get that heart rate up, breathe heavy, and be like, okay, I'm back.
You don't even have to sit down at a desk. You just like have your painting up and be like,
do
a little spin around, do your dance moves. I mean, like, all right, we need a video of you painting. Oh.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that part.
Oh no. So now you guys are going to see my ridiculous dance moves. Oh no.
Mine are out there. You've seen.
Yeah,
I do it too.
Oh.
It's important. You got to stay in it, and sometimes you're just in the groove and you're in that flow.
Yeah.
And you're feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
And you just kind of like you're in your world, and if dancing is part of that and that keeps you going, why not?
I know.
It's because it really is for you, and it's just lovely that
it's
other
an
people
expression of movement and art and creativity and all that fun stuff.
So, to wrap up, we have the art show coming up.
Yes.
February 17th. Please, guys, come out to New Spirit Old Soul at the Homestead. We have the studio all set up. We have 5 artists there with all their creations. And that is, again, February 17th from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. at 7799 Boyertown Pike in beautiful Boyertown, Pennsylvania. How do people see your art? Sarah Cristine Art.
Yeah,
Instagram.
Oh yeah. I thought it was lovely. You can come over to my house, but that's how they usually see it. I show them.
DM Sarah directly. Yes. You can. She'll take any stranger through her house.
I'm working on just look at my porch, drive by. You'll see. I'll have my newest. No. Yeah, Sarah Cristine Art on Instagram, and yeah.
And that's kind of a new page.
Yeah,
you decided to go pro.
Honestly, it's been like what we have half-heart art. Like there's so many different. I guess we're evolving and we're feeling it out. So it's like I've had half-heart art, all creation inspiration. I'm like, no, this is Sarah Cristine Art.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like you're really into that. You're going to really continue to create and really start doing it more professionally as a business to create for yourself. Because first of all, it's beautiful. Again, I think we've really hit it home that we just love doing it.
Yes.
But why not if you can also find somebody else who loves it? Because I imagine you have like 15 pieces of your artwork around the house and you have no more room. So you probably okay to sell some of them off.
Go right. Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
Maybe.
Looks like our time is coming to an end, guys.
Yeah, it's these guys will probably go to a good home if you can spare them. How many pieces of art do you think you're bringing to the show? Put you on the spot.
I know, right? Like 5 to 6.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good amount.
5 to 6.
Because that's another thing. People don't realize how much time you don't get paid back for your time. Because you're doing it, coming back to it, doing it. But I think I heard Julianne said her last painting she put 40 hours into.
Oh yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, I can't wait to see her art. She's so creative.
She's wonderful. She's going to come on next weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we have Sam from Summer Kitchen Studio.
Oh, yeah, I need one of those mugs.
Yes,
I need one of those mugs.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think tomorrow we're going to have Made by Fairy Fingers.
Yes,
Jeanette. She's wonderful. Her jewelry is incredible. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Look forward to it. If I don't see you before the 17th, which I probably will, I think I will because you're going to bring your artwork over.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and I'm going to stop by and get coffee.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, and then we'll be like, hey, so
delete that. No.
How did that podcast go? All right, lady.
Yeah. Here's the link.
Here's a link, lady. Here you go.
So check Sarah out on Sarah Cristine Art on Instagram. Come out to the art show February 17th at New Spirit Old Soul. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Tell us your comments. How do you create? What do you create? What's your process? I'd love to hear from you. I'm Jacob Wright from New Spirit Old Soul. Thanks for watching.